with Star News, and you're talking to us about your history with, you were working for the sheriff or the police department?
Well, actually, I had statewide jurisdiction.
Okay.
Was sworn into the statewide jurisdiction, which brings up another story that of interest, but until some people die, I can't really talk about
Oh,
that.
gosh. Okay, well, let's sit on it then.
When
Let's
you're doing,
table that.
when you're doing vice, it's a very unusual position because you only work for one person for the security of the department, and that is directly under the sheriff.
Okay,
the
so the
reason
sheriff
for
that you're working with.
You didn't have to worry about sergeants. You didn't have to worry about anybody. You worked directly for the sheriff.
So you want to do an undercover?
I never went undercover.
Okay.
That was when I told him when I took the position, that's one thing I wouldn't do. I had a family. I had 2 kids. I would not go undercover. But I thought I could supervise it. And what I did, I read on some federal manuals and some CIA manuals and learned how the government worked in terms of covert operations, and that's how I targeted what we did. For instance, informants. You're dealing with people that's giving you information. I set them up with numbers, not names. So if there was anything, nobody, even in the department, didn't even know who I was dealing with. And I had a register that I did them with numbers. Monies was passed out that we did for informant fees. We set that up, and we set it up in a way that if anybody ever asked a question or said, you know, like what happened to a sheriff down here where he got convicted of pilfering the money, I had a book where I could put the number and coincide with the amount of money they got and what the case was. So if there was ever any questions. Not only that, but I even actually, that was when they were just starting with ATM machines. And I put the money in a bank to where we actually had the bank transaction. I don't know what they do in that.
I was going to say, I wonder if it's at all similar to what you've arranged.
I doubt it.
So much more advanced.
If it was, we wouldn't have seen what we just saw 3 years back.
Maybe they should get back to what you had going.
Absolutely, because you had yourself covered.
Listen, you have this history with law enforcement. You come up here, you start working with the station, and you're on the other side where you're sort of uncovering a lot of this covert stuff, talking about it. You've had many, many years up here and some amazing things going on. How is it then to switch from being someone who's working on the side of law enforcement now to be expecting law enforcement to be as transparent as you knew Chief Rogers used to be?
Well, I'll tell you an old story Gil Davis told me one night. We were talking, and he used to be a federal prosecutor, and then he became a defense attorney. A very, very good defense attorney. One of the best, in my opinion, that I have ever. In fact, I took him to Vegas, and he met F. Lee Bailey at a convention. I introduced him.
Oh, wow.
So he's just a remarkable, intelligent man. And I said, Gil, how could you be a prosecutor and now be a defense attorney? He said, well, and he gets into his constitutional issues and some Thomas Jefferson sayings. He was a big reader of Thomas Jefferson. And he said, you know, any time that you can free any innocent person, and I'll never forget when he told me this, and I say this all the time, and everybody needs to realize this, it's better to set free 10 guilty people than it is to convict one innocent. And our justice system is based on that, from the foundation of the Constitution all the way up. You're best to let 10 people guilty go than to convict one innocent.
Why?
Because it puts people like you and me in jeopardy. We're the innocent party. They just jump on you. And if you study history, you see where back in the 20s and 30s, they used to beat people. So, oh, you killed him. No, I didn't. Yes, you did. Beat them until they say, oh, yeah, I did. And there they go. And not only that, but you're not solving the crime. So, and people don't realize that now because there are innocent people, and we know that right here in Henry County. We've had people sought for the death penalty. Can you imagine? You're sitting on death row and you've not done a thing. It happens all the time. We have to really be vigilant in watching what our judicial system does to the people, even the people that are undesirable, even the people that, look, because law enforcement will target the undesirable.
I mean, do you consider yourself a watchdog now for those?
Absolutely. Look, like Elder. By the way, that's how my day started off this morning.
Yeah, I knew he went to court today.
I went to court today.
Let's talk about...
You don't want to ask what happened?
I have a feeling Mike's going to call in and it's going to be breaking news. What happened?
It is breaking news.
Okay, tell us.
Big news.
What happened?
Case dismissed.
Really? Now, which case is this, though? Because he's got several.
This is the big case that he wanted to get in court before jury because he wanted all this corruption to come out.
Yes. What does that mean, though, the case dismissed? He can't see, then he can't expose the corruption.
That's right. It was a remarkable chain of events. Judge Williams said that he's reviewed this matter and that the complaint that was lodged by the judge that held him in contempt, there was not enough information for him to act upon it. He gave him a stack of papers like that for him to read on what he based the law on, and he says as a result of that, he has now instructed his judges on these contempt charges. Mike Elder made law in Henry County today.
So, and people are so dismissive of him.
Well, this is.
But you haven't been.
Absolutely not. I've never seen this happen. The most incredible thing I've ever seen today. It shocked Mike, shocked everybody.
Case dismissed.
Case dismissed. So
he doesn't get his day in court.
Oh, he's not through.
Okay.
There'll be
so there's
another
more
day.
of a more story coming.
Yeah.
Well, I know we've got to take a commercial break. I want to talk to you about what your thoughts are, and I know you've kind of done this sort of headbutting with law enforcement, and I wonder about that now because you have this history. But you know, you're very demanding of their transparency, especially to the press, and we're going to talk about that with Bob Sharp right after this commercial break. So stay tuned.